for you and the work that you do, how important is it for black men to kind of because I feel like we always support I feel like black women always support
Oh,
black
y'all
men.
do.
How important is it for you to kind of, are you educating black men as to why we are their allies and their biggest supporters and not their enemies? Because I feel like there's so much talk now in pop culture and in social media. You know, there's people I will not mention that are now making big names for themselves on social media that are literally deriding black women every single day, talking about high value women and high value men and all kinds of things like that. So, what can you do with the platform that you have to kind of dispel some of these myths, and also to make sure that we're holding black men accountable for doing right by
Well,
black women?
that's a great question, Bev. And it's interesting that it's Malcolm X's birthday, and we just talked about Beyonce's Lemonade. I think one of the most profound things that Beyonce did with Lemonade is when she sampled Malcolm X's speech, where he said that
Hmm.
black women were the most disrespected people on the earth. And because, unfortunately, a lot of times men, no matter what our race is, our background is, will only listen to other men talk about this. But when y'all say it, we're like, well, no, it's not really rape culture. It's not really domestic violence. It's not really, unequal pay, even though y'all are doing equal work or more work, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And the reality is, like, we have to be as loud against sexism, the oppression, the hatred, the disrespect for women and girls as we are around racism. Even when we look about a year ago, you know, of course we should have been angry about what happened to George Floyd, but we needed to be equally angry about what happened to Breonna Taylor. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's just like, because black men's lives are not more valuable than black women. I mean, even me, growing up and coming of age, when I did, I grew up, like you, I grew up literally with hip hop, and hip hop has always been male centered, as we know. But we understand there's been Salt and Pepper, there's been Lauryn Hill, there's been Lil Kim, there's been all these incredible women voices. But a lot of times, well, the black man's an endangered species. My response now, Bev, is what was my mother, a dark skinned black woman with an eighth grade education, on welfare, food stamps, government cheese, rats, roaches, disrespected, discarded by my father if she was not an endangered species as well, trying to raise a child by
Mm.
herself. You feel what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so
Yeah.
that's what it is for me. And I'm trying not to get emotional here, but
Yeah.
we're not going to be free as a people if we're holding down half the community and calling y'all bitchs and thoughts and all the
Hmm.
horrific stuff. I mean, Bev, when you jump on, man, honestly, I jump on Clubhouse mostly when I see sisters, because y'all make it happen. When Bev's on Clubhouse, I'm like, let me go. If I got time, I'm like, let me jump on Clubhouse and see what Bev
Yeah.
is doing, because it's like, I respect you as a leader, Bevy Smith. I respect you as a visionary. I respect you as someone who has the ability to reimagine yourself over and over again in these different spaces, as you've talked about. And we can't be threatened by black women. Black women are not our enemies. Our enemy, quote unquote, is the system that has hurt all of us. That's what we have to fight against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that we got to wake up. And so for me, it's been years of therapy. It was, reading black women voices like Toni Morrison, O'Neill Hurston, Nikki Giovanni, Audre Lorde. It was really understanding, Kev, just like you didn't learn anything about black history growing up, because, I mean, God bless my mama, she didn't know what to say. And then the school system didn't teach me anything. I also didn't learn anything
Hmm.
about women and girls. I learned nothing. And my hope
Yeah.
is, when our children, grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews come up, they'll see in the history books, oh, there's Bevy Smith, there's Joan
Yeah.
Morgan, there's all these amazing black women who have done things, and we're not going to continually erase sisters for the conversation.
You were a hip hop journalist for so long. How do you reconcile now what has happened to the art form and the culture, and what do you think about what's happening with the business of hip hop music now? And I know we only
Mm.
have 3 minutes left, so just try. I know, but you're a good talker, so trying to encapsulate that answer.
Well, one, I'm a lifelong hip hop head, so I also grew up as a b-boy, a dancer. I was at the rooftop, I was at Latin Quarters, I was all these different
Hmm.
spaces that we had that we made famous in the early '80s, as you know. I was a graffiti writer. My nickname is Keepo One. That was my tag when I was coming up,
Wow.
and so I was always in the culture. I came of age with Sister Soul. soldier. We went to college together, so we were actually also in the first wave of what we now call hip hop activists, and that all led me to Vibe magazine because I also knew that I wanted to be a writer. Shout out to your newspaper in Harlem, Amsterdam News. That's what gave me my start. How do I reconcile? I've always said that I represent hip hop culture and understand there's something over to the other side of it called hip hop, the industry. The culture is the DJ, the MC, the graffiti writer, the dance element. It's knowledge. It's knowledge. It's knowledge. It's the fashion. It's the language. It's the way we walk, the talk, everything. The industry, unfortunately, took away a lot of the balance out of the music form, because it's the stuff that you're talking about. The way when Deion Cole was on Netflix, his Netflix special, people should watch it. When he says, when you go back to the '90s, you hear the brothers talking in songs. You even have, '80s and '90s, even in hip hop songs, LL Cool J talking about "I Need Love." You hear all kinds of emotions, and unfortunately, what has happened is that we script away the creativity. And this is why I'm doing this film, Bev, because I'm like, yo, son, we got to be whole men again. We can't just be these stick figures where it's just bang, bang, shoot them up, just have sex, just disrespect black women, and that's all we are. We are so much more than that.